What's going on, geeks? It's Morbin time. You're listening to episode 307 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
What up?
And Shelley Nollan.
Let's go. Hello.
This week, we're geeking out about a state of play, memes not equaling views, and Lord of the Rings having a 5-year plan, and so should you. Probably. I don't know. I don't have a 5-year plan.
I don't have a plan for tomorrow.
Facts. Let's get into this. Games we've been playing. Apex. I don't know. I don't tell you. It's just my getaway game. I haven't even tried the mobile version yet. I probably should do that. And I could talk about something a little bit different. At least.
Yeah.
LJ, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been playing some stuff. Let's see. So the first thing I've really got into, which I'm happy I did because it's like I've always wanted to play it, and so. But with a buddy of mine, I played Overcooked All You Can Eat Edition, which is basically it's basically both Overcooked games, but like all in one package.
Yeah.
And you can actually play online with the first and second one because I think only the first one used to be like local only. And it was one of those games where it's like even with like I've always wanted to play it, and it's just one of those like multiplayer centric games I never had the chance to. And this week I got to play it, and it is utter chaos, but it is quite hilarious. My joke was that I cook like I cook like a Cajun because I always forget to cut everything, and I just want to throw everything in the pot.
That's funny. I love that.
Yes, and it's like I always forget to and I always forget oh, you need to chop it, and I'm like, oh no, and then the context of the buttons, and then I'm like, oh wait, why'd I grab that? I'm supposed to grab that, and I'm like, why'd I do this? It's just. It's a lot of dumb fun. It's very chaotic.
That game stresses me out. My wife loves it.
You know what, though? I will say I like the second one a lot more because the first one is straight up hard. It really is.
Yeah. I think we only played the second one, but...
The second one is, I feel like I'm in chaos all the time, even still in the second one. But then, we would complete a level, and it'd be like, oh, we got all 3 stars. Which I was surprised most of the time. But then they do have
I
the
thought
bonus.
My ADHD brain would be like, this is perfect, but my ADHD brain just
You're
overcooked itself.
Yeah.
But then the second the second one has the Kevin missions, which feel like the challenge of the first game. They're meant to be super hard, but I like it. It's super fun, and I'm definitely going to play some again. I'll have to bring that game around for a stream again, because I know we've done that before. So that'll be fun to go back to. The other thing, I kind of got into back into a bit of Sega nostalgia, because they had the Sonic Frontiers gameplay come out too, and I was playing some old Sega stuff recently. So I beat OG Streets of Rage 2.
Nice.
On the Switch. So that was good fun, because I'm like, man, I haven't beat that since I was a kid. And then started playing Streets of Rage 4 again. And I'm on the last level of that, which is pretty challenging. But I'm excited just to kind of... I've been feeling a lot of retro stuff lately. So it's been cool to go back to that. And I think also the idea that the Ninja Turtles game is coming out pretty soon, which is basically from the same publishers as the new Streets of Rage. So it's I feel like I'm mentally getting myself prepped for that too. So
yeah,
the new Streets of Rage is awesome. If anybody has not played it yet, I think it's still on Game Pass. But yeah, that game is fire. And that's kind of what I've been playing.
Cool. What about you, Shelley?
So my husband and I have been playing so much Lego Star Wars. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
I don't even know if we had Lego Star Wars by the last time we recorded this podcast. I don't even know if I don't think I've talked about it, but we got it.
It's been a few weeks.
Well, and I didn't want to buy I didn't want to buy it for $70. I was like, no way, this is worth $70. So I did wait. It was on sale. It was on sale leading up for the State of Play. It was the Days of Play or whatever it was called. There was a sale on PS5.
They do a summer sale, yeah.
Exactly. So it was on that, which I was very surprised about, because I'm like, wow, this game's pretty new.
Yep.
So we got it.
It was down to $45 or $50.
I think, we got it for around 50, and oh my gosh, it's so fun. There's so much content. And it's been really fun, really, really fun playing co-op. So it's just awesome, because I feel like I've had a lot of mixed experience playing co-op Lego in the past, like Lego games. Like I grew up playing primarily, I think I might have played some Lego Star Wars. I definitely played some at least, but I also mostly played Lego Harry Potter.
Yeah,
like, those were kind of my Lego games. Yeah, and playing those co-op was fine, but then it's kind of like, you know, once someone else joins the screen, they can only go so far, and so if you want to go one way and the other person wants to go a different direction, you're kind of like pulling the screen apart, and it's like, you're kind of like fighting in that way. Yeah. And it's still all very linear for the most part. You can only go certain places, and a lot of those older games at the very least. I remember my last experience actually trying to play Lego co-op was also with Daniel. We found a copy of Lego Lord of the Rings, and so we're like, oh, this will be fun. The very first level glitched on us. The first one. It was literally impossible to beat. We had to look up how to beat it, and it's just because the things that were supposed to show up, there was like a certain enemy or like flag that was supposed to show up, never did. And we're like, oh, cool, we have a glitched game. That's awesome. Oh, no. So, all that being said, I was a little hesitant with this game, but oh my gosh, it's just so good. Like,
fantastic quality, really.
Yeah, you had the split screen co-op instead of having to like share the same screen, which means you can actually just go and explore and do your own thing. Which again, like, split screen is kind of rough for people who have smaller screens, but we have a pretty big screen, so it's really, you know, nice for us. And we can just split up and kind of like do whatever collectibles and stuff, so we can collect things twice as fast, right? There's two of us. And it's easier to collect things that, you know, we can lift the other person on a box and grab a collectible, like a Kyber brick or something. It's way easier than just having to do it all by yourself. And so we played through all of the episodes. So, like, we actually beat the game, technically. Like, we played all the episodes, but we are 100% in the game. Which, if you have this game, there's a lot of characters, a lot of ships, and there's 3 different types of ship as well. There's mini kits. You get 5 mini kits parts per level. So per level, there's like 5 levels per episode, right? So we're getting all of those and getting all the mini ships. They're just the ships, but they're small, right? It's kind of like a go-kart version of like popular ships that you're familiar with. But then there's also like actual spaceships that you can unlock, and you can just unlock those through episodes and through quests and things like that. And then there's big ships that you take over, which I was like, I didn't realize that was a thing in this game until it started happening. Like, all of a sudden, a big ship came, and you could just take it over. You go on the ship, you take it over, and then it's yours. And you can explore, and it has even more collectibles. It has even more Kyber bricks or, you know, May kits and things like that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, so much content. That's crazy,
and because you can beeline the game and never see any of that.
Exactly. And that's like, I haven't even talked about how, like, every single planet that's in this, like, you can go and explore. And so we're trying to work through each sort of subsection of the galaxy. So we've already 100% won, the one that has Mustafar in it, as well as Dragon Snake, Swamp, and something else. We've 100% Camino as well. Camino's pretty small. Again, it was only a small part of episode 3. And now it's like, also my Star Wars lore brain is expanding because there's a bunch of stuff I just didn't know, like the names of things, or like, you know, now it's all expanding. It also makes me really want to go back and like rewatch the original trilogy. Honestly, watch all of them again, but I feel like I'm actually the most familiar with the prequels. I don't know why, I just watched the most when growing up, because they were like newer when that was the case. And then you know, most recently I saw the sequel trilogy, but the original trilogy, it's been a long time since I've seen them, so I kind of like want to watch them again. Like, I'm just in such a huge Star Wars movie, and like, we're gonna talk about Obi-Wan later, obviously, but like, this game is actually legitimately incredibly fun. There's literally so much content, and it's so fun that Daniel and I are actually like putting aside going to like Smash tournaments to play this game instead. Wow. We're just like, we'd rather, we literally went to a tournament together, and both of us looked at each other and determined, we'd rather be home playing Lego Star Wars together. Like, why did we sign up?
That's funny.
All that being said, if you're on the fence about Lego Star Wars, like, and it is still fun single player, but especially if you do have someone to play with, like, I highly, highly recommend it. It's very fun. And there is actually just an astronomical amount of content.
I think Jamie is streaming that game as we record this.
I know, yeah. So,
yeah.
But anyway, we're just having a really good time with that. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, well, we'll get into the gaming news then.
Yeah.
LJ, I don't know if you want to start with the State of Play or not, but State of Play came out.
No, yeah, we're going to start with that because honestly, these conferences, these little showcases, are going to be happening through the summer. So, like, on Sunday, I think, is the Xbox one. I know
it's like a little baby E3.
Yeah, so Summer Game Fest is going to be happening too, so there's going to be all these little indie showcases and things like that. So it's one of those things where it's like E3 going away, like, doesn't really matter because, like, even when it was still there, you know, we started these live stream showcases. So this State of Play has some pretty big stuff in it. One of them being, I think, obviously the biggest one, is Final Fantasy 16, which looks awesome. Like, it's literally the combat designer from Devil May Cry is doing the combat in that game. Like,
yes.
Okay.
I'm of the mind, I'm like, give me more action in these JRPGs so they can actually be fun for me. You know, like...
Yeah.
JRPGs have needed to evolve for so long, and this one looks like it's going to have a lot of Final Fantasy 14 influence because I believe a lot of the head people in that are working on that are doing this. So that looks exciting. And then we have, like, Street Fighter 6 was a big one. So we got our first look at that, and that game looks beautiful in the re-engine that, like, Capcom has been using. There's been info coming out about that game throughout the week. Capcom is supposed to have their own showcase on the 13th, so I bet we'll see more of Street Fighter 6. The thing they opened up with, which I probably should have mentioned anyway, is Resident Evil 4 Remake is actually a thing, which I still think the original game holds up, but I'm still down for this remake. So, looks cool. And then the game that I probably wasn't going to pick up, but I will now, since I'm going to have this subscription, is Stray, which is the cat game.
Oh,
and
it looks so good.
Awesome. So, like, it was a game that I wasn't, like, I didn't know if I was going to ever pick up or not just because I hadn't really seen it. But now, if you do have that premium, like, third-tier, top-tier subscription for PlayStation Plus, this is going to be available through that. So... which is funny because a lot of people are like, it's still not their big, like, a big exclusive game. Yeah. But it's kind of neat that they do have something that's like, oh, you're going to get this at launch of that new subscription. So, Stray looks cool. I believe it's going to have a photo mode. So, expect many cat photos.
Yeah, this is one, I remember them announcing it, like, with the PS5, right? Like, it was, like, one of their first games that they announced. And it was
very a cinematic trailer. Like, we didn't really get to see what it was going to be.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is, like... It was, like, that game and Kena Bridge of Spirits. Those were, like, two games where I was like, I need those games.
Yeah. It looks good, though. Like, it looks like a legit, like, fun platformer. It looks pretty. It is coming to PS5 and PS4, which is cool. So, it's like, there's still a lot of people that don't have PS5s. So, be on the lookout for that. I think that's coming out in July as well, which is very soon. And then there's a bunch of other things, smaller things. Like the other one I was excited about was Callisto Protocol, which is from the original lead designer of Dead Space. So it basically looks like a Dead Space game.
Yeah.
Which I'm so on board for.
It's crazy looking.
Yeah, then there were some other small things. Horizon is getting a VR game, so they're showcasing a lot of PSVR 2 stuff, which I hope some of that... I know some of that will be coming to the Oculus, like, so I'm kind of excited for some of that. But yeah, that's the State of Play. And then we'll move into some Nintendo stuff, something a little more fun and weird. So apparently... I forget where this was discovered, but Animal Crossing, the newest one on Switch, apparently only goes up to the year 2061. So my wondering is, what happens if you did play to 2061 and there was like this like Y2K type of like
yeah,
like,
well, because someone it's like I remember seeing this in a YouTube video. It was literally just on my feed. But it was like, you know, I don't even remember the title, but it was basically someone, you know, changed the time on their Switch to, like, the day before 2061, And it was like, you know, Happy New Year's, yeah. And then it's like, it's a regular day. And then the day after that, it's just like, just says like, the game doesn't support this time. Please go back in time and play more.
Yeah,
like,
so sad.
It's literally just like, Nintendo put a lock on it. They're like, they had to just choose a limit. They had to choose a number, a year. That
you could literally play till the end of time.
Yeah, they couldn't do that, I guess. So they didn't even choose like, 3000 or whatever. It had to be 2061 for some reason.
I wonder if it's just like the data or something. Like, I don't know, like what would entail that. But
it is interesting because I do almost feel like though that it is just a temporary placeholder, because the message itself does say like turn back the time. It does say like turn back your clock and play in the past, like do that. And it makes me think that it really actually is just a placeholder, that like a future patch, like, and who knows, maybe they'll just let Animal Crossing die out. That's fair. They might just do that. But I feel like they could very easily patch and move it up a couple years every once in a while. That doesn't seem surprising at all, especially because, it's like that message really makes it seem it's like clearly you changed the time on your Switch, and now you need to change it back because you've gone too far, rather than like our system doesn't
it's
handle
like, no,
this,
we're not gonna let you be a Time Lord.
Yeah, so I mean it is pretty interesting though. It is very funny, especially just a game like that. It's like you could still go back to the original Animal Crossing and just play. Like there's no time limit as far as I'm aware on the original or even New Leaf, I believe.
That would be
so it's just kind of weird how it's like
weird.
what's different with this game?
Yeah, I don't know. My thing though is like there's definitely going to be another one anyway. Like they're going to keep making those games.
You're right.
So it's just a fun. It's just, to me, it's just like, I don't know if it's data or whatever, but it's fun.
It is pretty fun.
But if you're like really invested in this game, to know that like all of your progress will just be obsolete.
Like you've reached the end of time.
Years. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've reached.
Because that's still like within your lifetime too. It's like there's lots of kids who got this game, and they're still going to be well within gaming age by 2061.
Like you bring up the original Animal Crossing. How long ago was that made?
I want to say 2005. I think I'm
2003.
wrong. 2003.
I know. So
GameCube,
fun fact about
right?
the original. Yeah. So fun fact about the original is it started as an N64 game. There's a legit N64 version in Japan that can be played.
That's neat.
That's cool.
Yep. So
I'm looking it up. 2003 in Australia. America is 2002.
Yep.
Okay, then.
So that game is 20 years old and people are still playing it. So 40 years seems like so far away.
Yeah.
But people are still playing the original Animal Crossing.
I'm sure there are people that still are, yeah. Oh man,
There's
I
gotta
spent
be
so many hours in that original Animal Crossing.
It's so, I don't know.
It's just like the fact
Part of
that
me is like, it's just a
game
game.
that's
like
meant for you, and you're encouraged to play every day, and you would think that you
like,
want them to play
stop.
for a long time.
You
but
cannot go this far.
Then again, you know what? I take that back. Nintendo does not care about their games surviving.
There will be a Switch 4 or something by
they
then. Or,
release a game, and then they patch it a couple times, maybe a couple years, for a couple years at this point on the Switch, and then they say, we don't care about it anymore. We aren't going to support it. You can't do this. Even games in the past, right? They're like, why are you playing this old game? Get our new shiny one. I'm looking at you, Nintendo.
But then they're like,
Melee.
hey, if you want to play this old game, we're going to sell you Super Mario Brothers for like a 10th time.
Exactly. And again, just continue to not support Melee as a competitive game. But whatever. I promise you, Nintendo.
Nintendo being Nintendo.
Nintendo being Nintendo, exactly.
Yep. And then the last piece of news, which I totally spaced this out because I'm like, there's so much other stuff going on that. They had another Pokemon, was it a direct or was it just a trailer?
It was a trailer. It wasn't even a direct. It was just a trailer.
Okay.
But it had a lot of content.
Everybody was like, big Pokemon news. So that new trailer came out. Some highlights of that, I think, which to me is the most appealing. Like I could see like myself enjoying it with people. But it's going to be 4-player co-op, which is very interesting. Like, to me, that sounds amazing, but I'm like, how? Like, I feel like there's going to be a caveat there that, as again, we're talking about Nintendo being Nintendo. I feel like there's going to be a major caveat there about that 4-player co-op, and I hope there isn't.
Yep.
I want it to be drop in, drop out. and like we were just talking about Animal Crossing. Like, think about how much of a pain it was to like connect in like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
You know, or like to play a lot of Nintendo games online. There's just always some caveat.
I mean, I remember how it worked in Pokemon Go. That was super easy. But then you literally just shake the Joy-Con and the other person joins you. But
and Let's Go. Yeah.
And Let's Go. That's what I meant. Not Go. Sorry. There's Go and Let's Go. They're two different games.
Yep.
It's true.
I meant Let's Go.
Yeah. So I'm hoping there will be some kind of streamlined feature because I could definitely see.
There's a point. Like, I don't just want to go into your world and then say hi. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to be able to. If we're all teaming up, I want all four of us to like join a battle.
Well, I think of like how Sword and Shield had like the Dynamax raids and stuff. Like, they could easily add like raids in this game, like 4-player co-op raids like that.
See, that I'm okay with. That's usually not my thing, but like in Destiny, I would play Destiny as a shared world, but I would always play by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is what Pokemon needs. Is like, I just don't want to show up in your world and not have to do anything to do besides say hi and look at your Pokemon and then trade. I can already do that.
Yeah. They showed off a lot of really cool Pokemon.
Lechonk. More like
Lechonk.
To me, I'm like,
go up.
I'm like, if I could just have Lechonk as my starter, then I'm like,
just get an army of them.
Just free your PC Pokemon, your starter Pokemon.
Seriously, just get Lechonk.
And just have an army of Lechonks.
Yeah. So it's Lechonk.
Like, literally release your Pokemon, and then when everyone's like, where's your starter? You can be like, it's Lechonk, I don't have anyone else.
Lechonks only. Lechonk run only. You only get Lechonks. Whatever evolves into, no.
It'll be called a
Lechonk's my starter. This other one ran away.
A Nuzlechonk.
A Nuzlechonk.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but Smoliv is also cute. I like Smoliv. I like the idea of he's a little olive boy. Like, it's just kind of nice.
No, there are. I do like.
We don't get any more ice cream Pokemon. I know that was like 20 years ago, and I'm salty still.
I don't think it was 20 years ago.
What was it like? There's like a lantern.
Probably 10 years. I don't know.
Who wants that?
It like 20 years ago. It
was probably not.
6?
Maybe? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm gonna find out. We can keep talking. Keep going ahead.
It does look like it just kind of it just reaffirms more that Arceus was very much like a prototype.
Yes.
For what this is. So I almost feel kind of duped. Like, I'm like, oh, like it was cool to see like them actually make strides in their actual gameplay and things like that. So it does look good. I'm just hesitant because I've traded in every Pokemon game I've ever bought. So I'm just like, I don't know. Like, knowing me, I'll give into like the FOMO like I did with like Elden Ring and like other games in the past because I have an addiction. And I'll probably, I'll probably end up playing it somehow. Like, that's just me. I know.
Okay, I exaggerated a little bit. Vanillit debuted September 3rd, 2011, so 11 years ago.
Okay, that's still a long time ago. It's longer than I thought it was. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be salty about it anymore, but ice cream is salty, so.
That's salted pretzel ice cream.
Yeah.
Ooh, yum.
Anyway.
Yeah, but like what you're saying, I think it's really exciting how it seems like they really are finally fully embracing an actual regular mainline Pokemon game that's open world. Like, they really did just sort of toy and sort of play with and introduce the idea in Sword and Shield. Then they finally like unlocked it a little bit more in Legends Arceus, and now they're finally like, hey, at least they're advertising. They could have false advertising, I suppose. That's an option. But they're at least advertising that it's like you can just wander, you can explore and do the story or do the gyms and go to the places, do stuff in any order that you would like. Which I think, again, Pokemon fans like me, I feel like we've been waiting for that for a really long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So that's really, really exciting.
If they scaled the leveling, like, that's not it'd be a new thing for Pokemon, but it wouldn't be a new thing in RPGs.
No, because
that would be awesome if I could just go to any gym that I want and it's at the level that I'm at.
Exactly. It'd be really interesting to see how that's going to work. Because again, like we didn't see necessarily gameplay of that aspect. We saw people roaming around and things like that. But I just want more information.
I think it remains to be seen like how the systems are actually going to be at play. In that game. But like I said, it's awesome. That I'm happy that Game Freak is making moves now. So
I know. I'm just like, wow, it actually looks good, and The designs look good so far. The legendaries look very cool. I am a big fan of both of them. I was not interested in the Sword and Shield legendaries at all. I was not interested in the Alolan legendaries at all.
The legendaries do look awesome in this.
What was the generation before that? I don't know. I probably didn't care about them either. I don't think I've cared ever since Zekrom and Reshiram. Again, 11 years ago. That was the same gen, I'm pretty sure, as Ice Cream Boy. I've never really been that drawn to any of the legendaries, I think, since that gen. But I really like these ones. They're cool. And also, they're just a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. They're both motorcycles. That's what they are. It's very funny. It's like, one's literally a dinosaur motorcycle and one's an electric motorcycle. You can't tell me otherwise. So
I'd rather the one that's run on fossil fuels.
Maybe they saw Persona and they're like, we need a Pokemon that's a motorcycle.
Or something.
I want Violet because I like purple. But the Scarlet one looks so cool.
See, because that's what I mean. It's like, I actually am like, ooh, I need to actually think about what I want. Especially because, 2 professors. We've never seen that before. 2 professors, one for each. So we have like this sort of like futuristic one, right? And then there's like the one lady who kind of has like a caveman aesthetic, which is really funny. Like I like this idea of like the ancient, old, historical things versus like the futuristic thing. I'm just like, I feel like that's something they would have addressed in Pokemon games already with like, they always have to have these like dynamics. I feel like that's something they could have done before, but they haven't. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. Did they have it for Sword and Shield? A sword versus a shield. It's kind of boring. Not gonna lie, but this one, it seems cool and interesting to me. I'm like, they could actually create some interesting. Like, I can imagine maybe depending on the game you get, whatever Team Rocket, whatever the bad guys are gonna have. It's like maybe they think that the answer to all of the world's problems is something that lies in the past, or conversely, something that lies in the future. And so they have to, get either an ancient legendary to help them with this problem, or a futuristic one. Like, I just think there's cool story implementation that could happen with that concept. I think it's an interesting concept, all that being said.
2 different minds about, the world of Pokemon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, overall, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. It's been a while since I've been this, unless you count Legends Arceus, it's been a while since I've actually been kind of like, oh, looking forward to a new Pokemon game, like, genuinely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I completely skipped the last one. Is it Sword and
Shield was last one. The one before that was the Alolan region, which I played, like, very little of.
So I skipped that one because I just didn't have.
I did.
I'm very picky with money. Sword and Shield, I had no interest in.
There was also X and Y.
X and Y.
I had X and Y.
X and Y.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the story. I just know that Pokemon breeding was a lot easier in that game, and I was convinced that I was going to make an actual team, and I got a perfect Gengar. He's somewhere. I don't know which game he's on right now. But it took me like a week and a half to get my perfect Gengar, and I was like, I'm not doing that 5 more times. So yeah, I want to play Pokemon games for the story from now on. But I don't know. I'm excited too. I think it'll be cool. The map's not a straight line up. Hopefully it'll actually be fun.
Yeah, like pick a direction and go. Like that'll be awesome to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get into movie news.
Yeah.
Or not movie news, but movies we've been watching. Gotta get that in at least once a week. LJ, you went to the theater twice?
Yes, I did. So the first one, I think most people will want to know about is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
and it's really good.
It is. So the thing about Top Gun is it had been so long since I'd seen the first one. I actually watched it on my day off the day before I went to see the movie after work. And there was a lot in there that it's, it seems like such a action bro movie, like 80s action bro movie.
It is
kind
Tom
of
Cruise.
Yeah. And so it is much deeper than that. And I won't go into spoilers because I hope y'all will at least give the movie a shot before you see Top Gun Maverick. Because this one connects heavily to the first one, and it's the first one is essential viewing to me. And honestly, it is so much better than I ever thought it would be, at least the first one. Because there is a major plot point in there that I somehow avoided all these years. And so I want everybody else to experience that hasn't seen Top Gun yet. So Maverick is... Some people are calling it, saying it's better than the original. And I'm like...
I've heard that.
Having just seen the original, I don't know if I can say that or not, because, like, the original just hits so hard, like, emotionally. The second one does, too, though. So, to me, like, they're almost, like, one and the same. Like, they're like, they feel like two parts. You know, they don't feel like separate movies to me. It's good, though. Like, and it's one of those things, it's like, Tom Cruise may be absolutely nuts, but he does some amazing movies. It's good. And all the stunts and all that stuff, like, all the flying that they did was, or, like, Tom Cruise did that stuff himself. And I think most of the actors might have as well. So it's really fascinating. It really is. So I recommend it. It'll probably end up on Paramount Plus in like a month if people don't want to go out to the theaters. But also it is a fun theater experience. And it'll probably be in theaters for a while. Like, it'll be like a No Way Home thing where it's like, I could see them keeping it in theaters until like 4th of July weekend or something. Because it'll be that, like, people could still go see it like that, like, you know, that weekend. So it's good. The other thing that I watched that is really, really good is the Bob's Burgers movie. And
okay.
I love that show. Like, and I have not seen all the episodes. Like, I've probably seen maybe the first 3 seasons or so, maybe 4 seasons, and then there's like 7 or 8 seasons of that show now.
Oh
wow. It is so good. Like the movie, like, especially if you're a fan, like, I actually wrote a review on this for our website, and I was very surprised that it is pretty much a musical, which I shouldn't have been surprised as well, because music is such a big thing about the show. Like, there's always this little jingle at the end credits, like, where the characters sing, or there's some kind of musical reference or music reference in every episode of the show. The actual musical numbers in the movie are pretty solid. They're very catchy. It's one of those... It's a movie, though, that I would recommend, like, if you haven't seen Bob's Burgers, like, watch a little bit of Bob's Burgers and really kind of decide if you like that kind of humor before you go see the movie, because there's, like, a lot of inside jokes and stuff like that. But it also does well to, like, in the first song, introduce you to, like, each family member and what, like, drives them. And the humor is straight up awkward and innocent. Like, to me, it's real innocent humor, because there's, like, a lot of adult jokes that the kids mostly, you know, they say some naughtier stuff, but it's like they have no idea. They're just seeing it through the eyes of, like, young kids. And then Bob and Linda are, like, the most wholesome family on animated television, that, like, half the crap they get into, like, they're not even trying to get into. They're just trying to run their restaurant and, like, you know, stay in business. And so a lot of the nonsense they get into, even in the show, because I've been binging the show as well since I watched this, and it's very innocent. Like, they're like one of the most wholesome families that just gets into straight up nonsense most of the time.
Heck yeah.
But also, like, yeah, for people that like musicals, I kind of want to know people's thoughts, because it's like there's not like a song every 20 minutes or every 10 minutes, but there's like 3 or 4 songs throughout the movie, and it's really solid. A lot of big voice actors aside from the original cast, but it's good fun. So that's what I watched over the last 2 weeks.
All right, I watched that Chip and Dale movie that was on Disney Plus. Finally, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It's real weird.
It is,
but that's kind of Andy Samberg, because that's his name, right?
Yep.
And then John Mulaney. That's kind of like their thing, is real weird, awkward
Lonely
humor.
Island, like, influenced humor there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
John Mulaney, he's really good with just like this real weird, awkward, eclectic humor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them to make like a kids movie, I guess you might call it that, they did a really good job with it. It's got a lot of unexpected cameos and stuff, and then they're really smart about. You talked about the way they kind of parody things, so that they didn't have to worry about the copyright issues.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff is really clever.
Did you see what they had before they were going to do the ugly thing?
No. Oh, I saw... are you talking about the Jar Jar Binks?
Yes, it was going to be Jar Jar Binks before they used that particular cameo they ended up using.
They should have done both. I think they should have added him in somewhere. It's, I don't know, it's cool. That cameo you're talking about played a way larger role than I thought it would.
Yeah.
So that was really weird. And I really enjoyed that. For a lot of the cameo stuff, it wasn't just like someone appearing just because. Like, they kind of had a reason to be there a lot of the times. And that is kind of different from a lot of newer... Like, I think of Space Jam. Just was... Here's a bunch of cameos for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, they had... A lot of them had, like, a purpose for being there and, like, led the story along and weren't just like a, hey, look what we can do.
Yeah, it was like very much a part of, like, the lore and, like, the world building of this weird mixed, like, reality that they lived in of, like, realism and, like, animation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
made no sense. Cars are all human-sized cars, and they kind of mentioned that in the movie. They're like, you know, they can get chipmunk-sized cars, but like in a world where everyone is like, they have houses and stuff for chipmunks.
Yep.
Like, why are there so many human cars? I don't understand.
He had like a little tiny seat thing for the car.
Yeah. It was just kind of like this world doesn't really work if you think about it too hard.
No, not at all.
It's so goofy.
And then one of them has a dog. It's like bigger than him.
Yeah. It's good. I don't know. I liked it. It's, you know, if you have Disney Plus, it's free. It's a good watch. It'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been successful in the theaters, but it feels like a theater movie.
Yeah, like it almost...
It feels like a theater movie that would have done really badly.
It makes me wonder, like, if people would have went to see it the first week and it wouldn't have done great, but then word of mouth would happen, and then maybe the second week, you know, people would keep going to see it, you know?
Yeah, it's got kind of almost a Roger Rabbit feel to it, which makes sense because it was heavily inspired, I think.
Yeah.
By that. And I don't know. I say, if you got Disney Plus, you might as well watch it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. If it was in theaters, I probably wouldn't have recommended it in theaters. I would think it's all right. We'll see. We can get into the movie news then, though. What's going on, Shelley?
Yeah, so we have a couple trailers, and we also have, talking about movies in theaters. Yeah, let's talk about Morbius a little bit. So, Sony thought it would be a good idea with all the memes going around with Morbius. They thought, people are interested in our movie, and maybe we should capitalize on this and put it back in theaters. No. The meme that they didn't understand is that no one's seen the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the joke. And no one cares to watch the movie. No one wants to watch it. It's not like...
you know what... I know. I was gonna say, you know what's such trash too is on TikTok that they've been doing like marketing, like the marketing boxes, or they've been sending people like Blu-rays and like all this marketing stuff to make videos for.
Oh.
And like those people that received those things are just like totally like eating it up. They're like, yeah, like we did it, guys. We put Morbius back in theaters, like for the meme, you know. And it's like so nobody can watch it again, you know, like. It's like y'all are a part of the problem.
Yeah, seriously. So it's like
this movie doesn't deserve that.
I know. It's like I heard it's bad, but it's like I heard it's also bad that's not like actually that enjoyable bad. That's the problem, really. If it was like a bad movie that could get a cult following, that's one thing, right? But no, this is not that movie. No one wants to see this movie. They I think made like a collective $300,000 or something with this weekend, which is like, as far as making a movie like that, as expensive as it was, as expensive as it is to get, you know, a weekend in the theaters, probably not worth it. It just flopped again. I've seen so many memes of like, it's even funnier the second time.
The first I think day, what was it, 85,000? It was only 85,000 that they made off of it. Which is essentially, I think I saw like somebody did the math, and it was like 8 tickets a theater. Like,
oh my gosh, that's
so bad.
Crazy.
Yeah, like, and that was the first day. Like, I don't know about like a whole weekend
for sure,
but
like, some perspective.
Like, what? Yeah.
Wow. So. That was just our first news. We had to mention that, you know, it's Morbin time. It's
funny, but it's also like...
Morbin time.
It's also like, please stop, because this is just going to get Sony This is giving them the wrong message.
I know, yeah.
I do appreciate Jared Leto's, he did a little video of him, like, hiding his script.
Oh, yeah.
It said, Morpheus 2, it's Morbin time.
Yeah.
And he was like, look at this, and they, like, put the camera over, he's like, no, stop, this is secret. And they, like, pull it open, and it's the script for the second movie, titled Morbin time, and I'm like, I wouldn't put it past Sony.
Yeah.
Like, is this what fans want?
They just, that's the thing though, that's how corporations work. They use any sort of attention to try to get money, so if they try to continue capitalizing on this meme, like, it's not gonna work, but I wouldn't put it past them to try, you know what I mean? The way that you actually do that is how Sonic the Hedgehog has done it. Engaging with your fans in a way that's actually, like, you know, uplifting fan art and, you know, ridiculous things like that, that so many Sonic fans do and feel.
And basically letting people make, like, their own fan games and stuff like that.
Seriously,
like,
yeah.
Sega really does not care, like, what people do, like, with their stuff, like, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's like, that's the shining example of how to actually engage with your audience in a way that respects your audience, makes it also just really fun, and also makes you money, right? It does, in the end, also make you money. That's how you do it.
And that's how we got that redesign and things like that, too. Like,
Seriously.
That's how it ended up being a hit, you know, because that's the way things should go, not like, oh, this thing's bad, let's just
it's called
keep making more of it so
to
people
your
can laugh.
Fans.
Yeah. And
really
it's like,
hard.
with Sony, it's like, we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you.
Exactly. They're like, oh, yes, we're all laughing. Yeah. They're like, no, we're laughing at you specific. That's a great way of wording it. It's so accurate, though. So anyway, just had to bring that back up the news. We also have 2 new trailers. We have one called The Man from Toronto. So this is another Netflix original movie. Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. Sorry, I never remember.
Oh, Woody Harrelson. A lot of people say it, but yeah.
It's just. I mean, I feel bad, but it just looks like another very, like, stereotypical Kevin Hart movie. I don't know.
It probably is.
I feel like you could replace Kevin. I feel like Dwayne The Rock Johnson could be there. I feel like Ryan Reynolds could be there.
That's fair.
It just kind of seems like that. But I mean, at the very least, it's a somewhat interesting premise where it's like, Kevin Hart's character is just a random guy, right? He always has to be just a random guy most of the time, in these movies. So he's just a random guy. He finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, where everyone thinks he's like this really, really intense bad guy kind of thing. Like that he, you know, he walks into this house and the guy's like, oh, are you from Toronto? Or like, are you, this guy is like, oh, you know, I'm from Toronto or whatever. And he like goes down and they're just like, you need to torture this guy. And he's like, huh? What? And so then, like, the rest of the movie, the premise is kind of that he needs to continue to be pretending to be this man in order for them to find the man. I feel like the trailer gives too much away already. I feel like I already know what the movie's about, but that's okay.
I actually missed this because I've been working all day, so I haven't been seeing the trailer, so I'm gonna watch the trailer, but I like Woody Harrelson, so it's like,
yeah, Kevin
Hart's fine too, even though he, like you said, he's just gonna be more Kevin Hart. So yeah, I'll probably give this a watch because it's on Netflix. It's gonna be on Netflix. You said,
exactly. Right? It is on Netflix.
Yeah, yeah. I'll give it a watch totally because it's on Netflix.
What is funny though about seeing Woody Harrelson there is that our other news, like when I think of Woody Harrelson, I think of the Hunger Games. We actually have a trailer for another Hunger Games movie, which is crazy.
You are the queen of transitions.
Point.
Hair flip, since people can't see me hair flipping.
I was like, awesome.
But yeah, it's so funny. They are making another Hunger Games movie. It's Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which if you don't really pay attention to Hunger Games news, which like there's not much news, right? This is a book. Originally, came from a book that came out a couple years back.
So remember, everybody, this was a book.
Yeah, and it's not a... Here's the thing. That's what people need to realize. I don't know if people realize. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a prequel. And it is a prequel that focuses on President Snow and, like, his backstory. So,
Weird.
There's not going to be any Katniss. There's not going to be any Peeta or Gale or any, the characters you actually care about. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some really big President Snow fanboys out there. It's just not me. Can't be me. I don't like Snow. I don't care about
It's like Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pretty much. And, I forget I remember reading the premise and I like, because I was like, I've read the original Hunger Games and aside from the last book, I actually really liked them. You know, the first one was okay, and the second one was actually really good. Kind of like how the movies went, and then again, just like the movies and the books together, the third one was just crap.
I never saw those last two movies. I liked the first two.
Yeah, I feel like you don't even really need to watch the last two, personally, in my opinion. But, so this isn't like, you know, after that, it's before that. It's like many years before that. President Snow is young, and he's doing stuff. And I think he's either involved in the Hunger Games in some way of that year, or maybe he's in the actual Hunger Games. I don't actually remember. But there's just, you know, it's just about him, right? That's all you need to know. So the trailer itself was really more of a teaser. It was just, which doesn't really instill a lot of hope for me, because it was really, and, you know, granted, maybe they are still really deep in production. I think it's 2023 movie. But even then, it's a 2023 movie. I feel like they should have something. But it's like, they're just have these cool visuals. And they're like, the Hunger Games are back. And that's just like kind of misleading, because it's like, technically, sure, it's another Hunger Games movie, but it's not the same characters. It's different characters, / it's focusing on the villain. And a villain that, in my opinion, isn't even that interesting. I was never interested in President Snow. There's some villains in those dystopian universes or whatever that can be really interesting. Heck, I'm not going to give J.K. Rowling ideas, but I would rather, instead of Fantastic Beasts as a franchise, I would rather we just have a Tom Riddle movie. Personally. Yeah. I think that would have been more interesting to me, because I feel like Voldemort is actually a very interesting villain in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
But President Snow, again, for me, I'm just like, it's just not. So I don't really care. But I don't know, maybe people liked the book. I heard a lot of people didn't. But, you know, maybe some people did. And maybe this is really exciting for them. So, as someone who's I would say I'm a relatively Hunger Games fan. I'm definitely not an aficionado or anything. But it's like, you know, when it was popular, right? I was the demographic. So, of course I liked it. I was literally the demographic. I'm a white girl, right? I was a young white girl. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good. This is kind of fun. But I don't really care about this personally. But who knows? Maybe the trailer will be like really good. I have this feeling that they're going to like be aware that it's like just about President Snow and that's not going to be interesting. They're going to throw in some weird stuff where it's like, this is Katniss's relative. This is Peeta's relative. Like, from the past. I have a feeling they're going to do that crap just to try to pull back people into being interested, but who knows? I just feel like Hunger Games hasn't been relevant. Dystopian genres, young dystopian, you know, young adult novels / movies.
That's like that Hunger Games is the reason why they made like Maze Runner and Divergent movies. Yeah,
it was like Hunger Games was one of the first like franchises that really kickstarted this wave of the sort of movement of like sort of dystopian-based young adult novels, and movies sort of coincidentally alongside it, and those are all gone. Those are dead and gone. There's actually, I'll do a little bit of a plug here. Sarah Zed is one of my favorite YouTubers. She's a video essayist. She did a really, really awesome video about this. It's very much not correlated with Geeks Under Grace. This is a Shelley opinion, not a Geeks Under Grace opinion. But if you're interested in that, it's a really awesome video essay just about like the rise and fall of the dystopian young adult sort of genre. It's very interesting. It talks about all of this stuff. With all that being said, yeah, that's a dead genre. So why are they? It seems silly to me.
I think this trailer is almost just to tell everybody, like, hey, remember us? You
exactly.
know? Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you any actual information. It's just like, guys, the Hunger Games are back. Remember the Hunger Games?
Hey, remember?
Remember?
Nostalgia.
Exactly.
I remember being over them by the last movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like still too new to be, like, nostalgia. I mean, I guess some people do probably have nostalgia for it, but it's, like, still feels too new.
Yeah. It's a little odd. But that's all I'll say, because, again, it was literally a teaser. We have, like, no information besides that. All we know is the book is based off of. So, that being said, that's our movie news.
Sweet. We will get into TV then. A lot of big TV dropped the very same day. We weren't here for Memorial Day week, so, yeah, I mean, Friday was a holiday for me. Was it Friday?
Monday.
Yeah.
What?
When? Not Memorial Day. I know Memorial Day was Monday. Stranger Things and Obi-Wan came out Friday night, I believe.
Yeah, that was,
I was like, wait, what did I say?
Thursday night I loved how they dropped Obi-Wan early. Because
yeah, technically.
It was one of those things where They dropped it like, what was it, midnight? Like Eastern?
I went to bed. I knew it was out. I was awake for it, and I was like,
it was midnight Eastern instead of Pacific, because Pacific they usually do it like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But I was excited because I was like, you know what? I have to work the next 2 days. There's no way I'm gonna get to watch this until Saturday evening, and I was able to catch it, and I was like, oh yes, good. So I'm excited they do that, and I want Disney Plus to do that again. They probably won't, but I like that time.
Yeah. Let's start with Obi-Wan. I think we're all caught up.
Yes.
So I don't want to give anything away. I'm trying to think. Things that were stated in the trailer. Obi-Wan being on Tatooine. And we knew. Did we know that a big villain from Star Wars was going to be?
Was he in the trailer?
At the very end they did the little.
We knew the actor,
so we know.
Oh, that's true. We do know the actor.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure. I was like, what do we know from trailers?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, everyone. A lot of times we're so like, we get news stories every day. We're constantly reading for the podcast.
Yep.
Articles and like our Facebook feeds and stuff full of it, or Instagram feeds. And so things get confirmed, and we know about it when I realize that not everyone else does, and that it might be
also, yeah, and then like a lot of it is leaks and rumors, and I try not to report on anything that's a leak or rumor because I don't like them. You know, like so when they finally do confirm things, I'm like, yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I was like, is it in the trailer? Because that's what a normal person will for sure know.
Yeah.
Okay.
News aficionados like us.
So we know that Darth Vader and then the Inquisitors
right, the Inquisitors are
make their debut.
The trailer, and you get the hint of
you get the little breathing thing for Darth Vader. So we can talk a little bit about that, but we can't really get too into
territory. I can share my opinion so far without spoilers, I think.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, go for it.
I really love Ian McGregor, and I really love his Obi-Wan. It's so fun. I do totally get what I think it was the director, right? A couple weeks ago, we directed how he sort of compared it to like Logan or Joker. It's very much a character study. I fully agree with that, and I really, really love that aspect. I like it when it's about him. There's some plot things or things that happen that confuse me. That the more I think about it, the more I'm like, huh? Wait, what? But then it's kind of like,
just walk around.
It's kind of like,
sorry.
I was talking about like this way. There's something else where I'm like, the more you think about it, the worse it gets. Oh, Doctor Strange. Not quite to Doctor Strange's level. Yeah. Not quite to that level at all. Especially the show's not even done yet. But on a very small level, it is a little bit like that to me. Unfortunately, where it's like the more I think about the actual things that happen or the things I see on screen sometimes and actually like cognitively think about it, I'm just like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, or like, why did they do this or whatever. But as far as that, when it's focused on Obi-Wan, it's like really good. I really like it. So
because there are a lot of things where like I think episode 1 and 2 were the strongest for me.
Yeah.
Even though there were other things that I still had myself going like, okay, that doesn't make sense, you know. Third episode I think was the most like inconsistent for me. Like there were some really awesome like moments, but
I agree.
I think but then it's just like you were saying, and like but the more you think about it, you go, huh? Like So I feel like I need to watch the third episode again too, because my mind wasn't like fully there when I was watching it. Like it was like there's some, like you said too, Obi-Wan is like really good, and like and a lot of the characters are good for the most part, but there's just so much there that's like confusing.
My biggest worry with the show, I think it was episode 2, was I was like, are we gonna get another old man young child story? I was like, we've done this, Star Wars, please stop. And I don't think that's going to be the case, which I'm really grateful for. I think they kind of got rid of the plot device.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I felt the same, though. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it feels weird, too.
I was like, is that what this show is going to be? I don't want that. I just want Obi-Wan struggling with his own demons.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to get, and we're going to continue getting.
Yeah, because like there's
I hope so.
There's a lot that adds so much to the prequels and parts of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And like there's just other times where it's like yeah, like it's, you know, you're not sure like where they're gonna go with some of it, and then also like some of the stakes especially don't feel as high because like we already know what happens to a lot of these characters.
Yeah.
But also it adds a lot to like what we've already seen too. So
I will say too, I really loved that the recap. They had a recap in the first place, and the recap was the movies.
Yes,
I was like,
I did that too. I was like, okay, yeah, I need to know what I need to know.
Perfect. I think it would have been fun to put clips from Clone Wars in there, but it would have been jarring. So I guess it was a good choice.
Man, and having watched Clone Wars recently, there's some stuff that I'm like, oof, like it's crazy.
Or Rebels, because I have no idea who the Inquisitors are until like everything I know about the Inquisitors is from the show.
Well, Rebels is still after this, so they wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But now it's back to when they're around.
Yeah,
I really like the Inquisitors in the show. I don't think that's spoiler to say. I like them as characters a lot. They're kind of funny to me, but like not in a way where they're actually humorous. It's more like seeing their conflicts within their own group is really funny to me. I like that a lot.
which is weird. Like I don't know if I quite like the Inquisitors yet because like being introduced to them in like Jedi Fallen Order, they're like the Inquisitors are straight up intimidating to me. Like
That's fair.
like they should be. And then this time in this show they're not really that intimidating to me. Like
that totally makes
maybe
sense.
Maybe because it's like, oh no, you're in this role in which they're supposed to kick the heck out of you and they are supposed to be stronger than you. So it's like, I guess maybe it's a transition between, it's a video game and a show. But yeah, and I just feel like we still don't know enough about the Inquisitors. Like, there's, like, how they have all their titles and stuff like that. Like, I want them to be a little more menacing, I think.
You know what? Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. But yes, they also kind of funny and awkward.
Yeah.
Too deeply into Darth Vader, but I will say, I feel like the more that they... It's okay for him to be on screen, but the more he talks... the less oomph he has for me, and I won't go any deeper in that. But I don't know. I thought that in Rogue One, he was awesome in Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
And then he does like a pun, and I love puns.
Yeah.
But I was just like, come on, Darth Vader, you're the villain of all time.
And yeah, like they've done well. Like I was talking to a coworker about this. They have done well to make Darth Vader the most intimidating presence, like in the last couple like pieces of media that I've seen and played. You know, like again, Jedi Fallen Order. The game is a few years old now, but like he makes an appearance in that. Straight up scary. Rogue One, straight up scary. And then even in that Vader Immortal game that I played in VR recently, it's like the dude is scary. You know, like so in this it just feels weird. Like it doesn't have that weight.
I think it's I don't know. I feel mixed because I know what you guys are saying, and I agree, but I also think about some things that happened that, again, I'm not going to spoil, where it's like, oh yeah, it does show him as very much a villain. And I appreciate that, where you're like, oh yeah, like, you know, this isn't Anakin anymore. This is Darth Vader, and I like that, but at the same, it's like, I feel like I have both those opinions at the same time, which is interesting, where it's like, for some reason, he seems less intimidating, but at the same time, I feel like I can see this, like, oh yeah, he is evil. He's a villain. So it's like a weird thing.
There's a poetic justice that happens in episode 3 that's like, oh dang, like
yeah.
And which I would have loved to see more of that kind of stuff at the end of the season. So episode 3 also did feel a little weird to me that we were getting some of this, like which felt so soon, even though it is technically halfway through the season already.
Which is
well, I hope they really kind of dive into that. To me, that's what the show, when the trailers and stuff was going to be, is Obi-Wan
and Darth
meeting Darth Vader for the first time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I hope that they kind of lean into that.
Yeah.
I also will say, we can move on if you guys don't have anything else, but that I love that the scenery has changed so much. That's huge for me. I don't know. I like
Boba Fett burned me out on Tatooine. I don't want to spend any more time in Tatooine.
Seriously.
Yeah. I'm really thankful that we'd seen in the trailers that there was a lot going on, and I just didn't believe it. I was like, it's gonna be Tatooine, and then something at the end.
Yeah.
Scenery, set pieces have been beautiful.
Oh,
that's
the
really
set pieces have been really good. Like I've liked a lot of that. Yeah.
You guys have anything else?
No, I think we've said as much as we could say.
Good, because we have a whole nother show to talk about. Stranger Things.
No, I should preface. Yeah. I haven't finished Stranger Things. I still have a couple episodes left, but I only have 2 episodes left. So, we should avoid spoilers as a whole, because it's still a pretty new show.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want to pull anything from the podcast.
Avoid spoilers.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Like I've said this on Twitter, that I think even with the last episode, and most of the show as a whole, or this season, this season is probably a 10 out of 10 for me, and probably one of the best things I'll watch on TV all year.
Yeah.
Because of episode 7.
Because episode what?
Because of episode 7, which is technically not the final episode.
That's true. Isn't there going to be a part 2?
It's part 1.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Part 2 comes out July 1st.
So there are 2 technically movies. They're they're as long as 2 movies.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So there's 3 more hours of this season that we'll get in, I think, a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's really soon. Yeah, it's July. Then I heard they're also even going to do another season on top of that later. Next year.
Oh, man.
Which I'm you know what?
Huge.
I'll forgive you. I will forgive you for making me wait years for this season, because you're giving me all this content now. You know what? Sure. I will forgive you for that.
This season...
I think it's really sad that the Netflix is doing so poorly, that they're losing all this money.
Yep.
Because they've dumped so much money into this show.
Oh, lots of
it. But it looks so good. I actually wish that I would have seen it in theaters, the entire thing. I don't know how that would have worked, but I would have gone to theaters every week to watch the episodes come out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're long enough.
One sitting would be a little hard.
Over an hour each one.
They're over an hour.
Yeah. If I could have bought a ticket for $30 and then gone to each episode every week, for not the full price of a movie ticket every time.
If they released these last 2 parts of the season in theaters, people would go pay to see that.
Yeah.
People, I totally would.
Feels... We talked about it. I really didn't believe they deliver on the special effects and stuff. We'd seen the trailers, and I was like, it just looks like more Stranger Things, which isn't a bad thing. But visually, this season has been next level.
Yep.
And you can tell the budget behind it is it's really well done.
Yeah.
I like a lot from this season, and again, I haven't even finished it. So your favorite part is the last episode. I haven't seen that, and it's already I really like the season.
The last episode of this part, I guess, enhances the whole entire series for me.
Sweet.
Even season 3 is the weakest for me, but I mean this whole season 4, just everything that's happened.
The one where they had the 11 spin-off pilot was the worst one for me.
Oh, I think that was season 3, wasn't it?
That was season 2.
I think it was season 2, but it could have been season 3. I don't actually remember.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yep.
It's scarier than any other season 2.
They went hard on horror.
Some people may want to, know that. If you're not into horror, it really leans into the horror this season. I was just thinking about season 1, and it was creepy, but it was kind of like a E.T. Remember how you used to like Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
We got Ghostbusters.
Yeah, this one's body horror a little bit.
Yep.
It's kind of if you don't like style. You're not gonna like this.
It's gory.
My mom, she loves this show. She was so excited for the show. I also love this show, but it'd been so many years since watching the last season that I kind of lost my hype for it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch it, but I'm also more excited for Obi-Wan. I'm still watching, Kaguya-sama Loves War, that sort of thing, right?
This season looks like more of the same from when we saw the trailer.
Yeah, and so then, I remember my mom, she was really excited. Then she messaged me. She's like, "Yeah, I watched episode 1 and I can't watch anymore. It's too much for me."
Oh no!
Yeah. But she's also the type of person where
I feel like that's gonna happen to some people. It's bad.
I told her to not watch the second Doctor Strange movie. Right? That's even too much for her. So I'm just it totally makes sense.
I've got friends that they haven't seen it, and I would recommend it to them. But seeing this season, I'm like, you're not gonna be able to enjoy this. It's just. Yeah, it's a little too dark for some.
It's very influenced by Nightmare on Elm Street and Carrie.
Yes. Yeah. If I had not, I'm invested because of the original, the first few seasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I was not invested, seeing some of the stuff in this season, I wouldn't go back and rewatch them if I've never seen them before.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because I don't like horror that much. Stranger Things was always kind of a weird thing. I think it was the 80s nostalgia.
I love how this walks the line to where it's horror and it's terrifying, but it's not gory. It's not really as gory as it could be, as most horror is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still pretty rough parts, but like.
Yeah, that first scene was just like, oof.
I'm glad they had a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Which,
definitely.
man, that was bad timing for both of those shows to come out, right?
Yeah. Literally both of them.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's like, okay, can we not?
Obi-Wan.
Maybe we just don't. Yeah, maybe we just don't do that anymore. I like this season. Again, to not put any spoilers, I feels both has the same energy of the first season, where it feels like you're back to like the it's a small town mystery thing going on, which is what was so alluring to the first season. It was like, here's a small town, here's this mystery happening, you don't really know what's going on, you have to kind of figure it out, you don't really trust the authorities necessarily. And so it has that same vibes, which I really, really love and appreciate, because that was what originally intrigued me about the first season, which when I fell in love with the show was literally the first season. But at the same time, there are still high stakes that are there. And so it's like, it's a really interesting mix where it's like, oh yeah, there is a lot of danger happening. There are high stakes, but at the same time, it's not, you still have that same energy of the, that original season, as well as this core group of friends and like character development. I'm always a sucker for character development, so big fan of that.
Huge development in this.
Yeah. And also like just again trying not to spoil anything about like even the villain or anything, but I really like some of the messages that's actually putting out. I don't really think I got many, and maybe I just forget. I don't really remember any messages from like the first 3 seasons, but I feel like this has like a theme and a message about like trauma and that's like a serious thing. And I think it's really cool how they're sort of presenting that through some of the characters and, how do you deal with trauma and like, how do you talk to your friends about it and that sort of thing.
Especially
I think
after
really
3
good.
seasons of it too, you could tell season 4, everybody's kind of just like burned out and just kind of like they're done almost,
Yeah. So I just think that's really, really good. So.
Yep.
Definitely. Cool. All right, we'll get into... No, do we have any other TV shows that we've watched? LJ? No?
No, I think I just listed Obi-Wan and Stranger Things.
I didn't actually look. I just kind of started to move on. I was like, I better check.
No, you're good.
For me too.
These TV news will be pretty quick. We've got a trailer for Sandman, which is... It was a comic book, then an audio drama on Audible, and now it is a Netflix show.
Very adult, very mature.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
Makes sense. There is literally a naked person in the trailer.
Yep.
He's covered, but
yeah.
probably for the sake of the trailer. I'm just skipping through it again just to kind of refresh my mind.
It's very much the darkest corners of... Because Sandman is like based on DC stuff. And it's very in the very, very dark corners of DC. Like that audio book is very mature as well. So that's where they're taking notes from is the audio.
The actress that played Clara on Doctor Who is in it. She plays someone with the last name Constantine. Does that... The Constantine?
I think it's Y for ex-wife. I don't remember.
Okay. So it is connected. I didn't know
it's connected. Oh, yeah. The audiobook has heavy DC connections.
That's cool. Okay.
So I don't know how heavy they'll get in this, but obviously the name Constantine is there.
Okay. That's not just coincidence. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'd have to remember who exactly that is, but yeah.
I know a lot of people are really excited about this. I don't know anything about it, but it looks interesting. So, a date announcement. So we should have a date. What's the date? August 5th. There you go. And then the other thing, much smaller news. Like I said, TV news is pretty light this week. The Lord of the Rings show, the Rings of Power. Still sounds like a Voltron series to me. Has plans up to season 5. They've even got it storyboarded, like the last scene of the show storyboarded. So that's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Wow.
I hope that they make it regardless if it's good or bad, just because, I don't know, like, if you got that much work into it, then just...
And people are already ragging on, like, the stuff we've seen already. But it's more of a, like, don't touch my baby, don't ruin my baby sort of thing, like... So I don't know. We'll have to see like once we actually see more of like what the show looks
Maybe
like.
that's what it is for me. Is like I just don't want something Lord of the Rings to be canceled.
It's just because it's not Peter Jackson's or it's not this like is why it'll get canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it.
They're already doing some things that
read
people are hating on. Which to me it's like I don't know, like do what you to me it's like I think it's okay for people to be adventurous, but other people are like nope, don't change a thing.
This I didn't know. This is really curious. Amazon actually bought the rights for a 50-hour show.
Wow. Oh yeah.
So like as far as the rights go, they have that much already paid for.
Yeah, because they I think it's the Tolkien estate. They literally had to like I think hit up about it. I think.
Yeah. There are things in the first season that don't pay off until season 5. So that could be annoying if they don't finish the story. I don't know. I'm curious. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 5 years will seem too short. I'll be like, man. Or,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. We'll end the show there. Did you guys geek out about anything else this week?
Nothing I can think of.
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, we will end it there. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24. And I am still taking a break from streaming, but eventually you'll find me back twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace.
And LJ?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and sometimes TikTok at LJ the Paladin. And I'm streaming on our channel on Friday nights, streaming some Transformers War for Cybertron.
Cool. You can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.